Welcome to another wonderful edition of Talk Sport on Global Television. Well, I'm so excited. What an exciting weekend that we have. It was a very wonderful weekend. You can't just stop talking about the actions that came over the weekend, the surprises. Apart from the surprises, what about the entertaining part of the game? There were losers and there were winners, and that's exactly what makes it a game. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and a special welcome to Talk Sport. As a matter of fact, my guest is going to be joining me via Zoom, and of course, we will add our voice to the conversation. Just Talk Sport this morning. What's happening? How do you feel over the weekend? I think there were a lot of surprises, more surprises than the entertainment, but then the game is all about entertainment, and that's the reason it's been called sport. Remember, Arsenal. Well, I think Arsenal came up with a whole lot of surprises despite the injury crisis. They still came up to do what they did. Were you surprised at that? If you were surprised, I was as surprised as you are. But then Ibrazano will be joining us via Zoom, and we will bring him up. But then, before we get started, before we bring you to speed with the result of the matches that were played over the weekend, let's go on a quick break. When we return from this break, we'll start with the result. And do you know where I'm starting from? I'm starting from the result of the game, where Gabriel actually did something very fantastic for the Arsenal side. All of this will come on your way after this break.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk Sports with the King of Sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Beautiful work from the wingers.
Sports still live on your screen. It is Global Television. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and of course, let's take you through the result of the games that were played over the weekend. How did it really go? How did it happen for your club? I don't know, but then, as a matter of fact, Ramsey belongs to the winning team. If any club is winning, that's where I belong. Don't ask me which club is my own club. Let's quickly get to the EPL. In fact, the Premier League came up with something very different over the weekend. Let's quickly look at that game. Arsenal's game is one of the games that actually caught my fancy over the weekend. Gabriel was the one who scored as Arsenal beat Spurs in the Fiesta North London derby. That game is actually a derby. A lot of people said so many things about that game. We're expecting something different to actually happen in that game, looking at the fact that a lot of people already gave that game to Tottenham Hotspur. But then, I don't know how it happened. I don't know if the god of soccer actually traveled from the camp of the Tottenham people, but then I think it was a very wonderful one in that Fiesta North London derby, as Gabriel Magalhaes actually headed Arsenal to a 1-0 win at Tottenham on Sunday. Well, yesterday it was a bubbling moment everywhere as Gunners overcame the absence of their key midfielder. Who am I talking about? The man who got a red card and couldn't be in that game. Well, the coach of the team actually gave a lot of assurances that they were going to do their best in that game, and that was exactly what they did. Who was away? I'm talking about the midfielder of Arsenal, who is Declan Rice. He was away. He was not part of that game, and a lot of people were saying the midfield was actually going to suffer. But as the case may be, reverse was the case as Declan Rice, and not just him, apart from him, Martin was also away from that game because of injury, and as a matter of fact, that extended their North London derby dominance because of that injury. As a matter of fact, it was fantastic as Mikel Arteta's side were without their skipper Odegaard due to an ankle injury which he suffered in Norway duty. As a matter of fact, Rice, like I said, was served a suspension for his red card against Britain. Losing to such influential players, where do you think Arsenal will come from to defeat their fierce rival? But then I think the surprise was the same for you the way it was for me, because these influential players, despite their absence, they did actually happen. How did it really happen? The influential players were away, and it makes us now vulnerable in a way to their trip as the Seven Sister Road to face their bitter rivals. I call them bitter rivals, but the Premier League title contenders dug very deep. They didn't just dig a shallow, they dug very, very, very deep, just with a very, very comparative and of course fantastic display, befitting and while having a very, in fact, I think what really happened in that game, it is a befitting goal that came, but then they benefited from Tottenham's latest display of wasteful. I call that wasteful. Don't hold me to it, but that's what I feel. Your opinion is just quite different. Your opinion may be different, but I think Arsenal actually took advantage of the wastefulness of Tottenham Hotspur, because the Tottenham side were so wasteful. Their display was wasteful, finishing before Gabriel actually bagged the winner in the second half. The second place Gunners are 2 points behind Manchester City as they turn their attention to their Champions League opener at Atalanta on Thursday. That match is going to be coming, and it's going to be coming very hot. But then before they travel to face Pep Guardiola's champions next weekend, I think the lineup for Arsenal, if you look at the lineup is not so favorable. But then one thing is obvious. What's obvious? Let me tell you. As a matter of fact, as it is, the defeat now to Tottenham Hotspur has given them some form of confidence, because I don't think they ever thought they will defeat Tottenham Hotspur and take that game, but as the case may be, that has actually given them the boldness, the audacity to face Guardiola's team, and of course Atlanta on Thursday. But the game between Manchester City and of course Arsenal is going to be coming over the weekend. It's still a long time. I think they need to make all their preparations. But let's see if Martins is going to return back, but I'm not sure because of the nature of the situation. But as it is right now, I think Arsenal are so excited because they didn't see it coming. But then something is sacrosanct, and that's the fact that anytime you're going to play a game, you have this boldness. Yes, whether we win or whether we lose, it is a game. I think Arsenal went into that game. I know a lot of support coming from the fan and a lot of support coming from the players. As a matter of fact, our guest is going to be joining us any moment. He's trying to get connected on Zoom, and any moment from now he's going to join us, and anytime he joins us, he's going to add his voice to the conversation. Now, still from the EPL, let's bring you more results from the games that we played over the weekend. This time, I want to talk about what happened to Nottingham Forest. Oh my God, my God. Hudson Odoi fires Nottingham Forest to first win at Liverpool in how many years? 55 years. Oh my God. They've never done it for 55 years. It has not happened. What a surprise. I told you the weekend was filled up with surprises, and that's exactly what we are talking about. That of Arsenal, I think it's small compared to this. When we talk about Liverpool, I wish I have a Liverpool fan in the studio right here to talk about this, but then I won't give them that opportunity today. Maybe much later, with time, they could talk about it. But then 55 years after, Nottingham Forest were able to get their first win at Liverpool. Liverpool dropped points for the first time this season. First time this season. What do you think about it? They dropped points first time this season. Liverpool have been firing from all cylinder, back, front, left, right, and center. But then this surprise came for Nottingham Forest. A lot of people may have said, well, Nottingham Forest, what would they do? If you listen to my analyst in the studio over the weekend before we got into the game, he said, in fact, he gave it to Liverpool outrightly without even thinking about it. But then here we are, face to face with the surprises that comes from the world of sport, and that's the reason it is called a very beautiful game. At least this is the first time Liverpool will be dropping a point this season after a second half stunner from Callum Hudson-Odoi, who earned Nottingham Forest their first victory at the Anfield in 55 years. The substitute scored the winner in the 72nd minute after Liverpool's I call that retreating backline offer him the time and space to measure a very beautiful shot from how many yards? 20 beautiful yards. Can you imagine that? That goal actually came from, Odoi can't waste chances at all, and that was converted. And this is something that has not happened in 55 years, and it is happening on top of the head of a very club. If it is a small club like all these struggling clubs that are down below the ladder, I don't want to call the name of any club, because if I say Chelsea now, you people will say, okay, all right, he's talking Chelsea down, not talking Chelsea down. But then if you look at the table, you know where Chelsea is. The league is still on its way. But then we're talking about Liverpool, who have been firing from all cylinder. This is the first time they are dropping points this season, and it's coming from Nottingham Forest. And that goal came from a shot that was measured from 20 yards. As a matter of fact, Reds have 14 shots at goal, 5 on target, where a sign of the home side was actually obvious. As a matter of fact, the still stand online. They could not at least do what we call superlative conversion of such superiority into anything meaningful. Well, I didn't see them having any mouth to say anything as far as that game is concerned. But then I think we should be congratulating Nottingham Forest because it is a milestone, and for the club of that magnitude, even though the club is supposed to be looked down on as far as the Premier League is concerned, all leagues, all games, there is a chance of either winning or losing. Despite that fact, we are not looking down on Nottingham Forest, but then winning the likes of Liverpool, I think it's a big one, and it's a very wonderful one for them. Let's move away from there. Should I call Leicester City unlucky? If you want to call them unlucky, I would also want to call them unlucky against Crystal Palace. That's how it actually happened for Leicester City midfielder Wilfred Ndidi has expressed his frustration. Wilfred Ndidi, well, I think Wilfred Ndidi this time is looking for every single opportunity that he has to actually prove a point. He was actually lamenting, he was actually feeling frustrated, and he couldn't hide it. He came out to express his frustration. Even that game did not end just too badly. If you ask me, it didn't end too badly, but the player of his caliber, and looking at the kind of person he is, he really want to prove a point, and he came out to say, well, I can't hide it. I will need to express my frustration over the 2-2 draw against Crystal Palace. What do you mean? Crystal Palace is also a club that is not to be written off at any point in time, but it's understandable for him. He was actually looking for a win, but they couldn't go home with the 3 points. They have to share the 3 points, leaving the Foxes wellness in the 2024 season after 4 games. Reacting to the draw, Ndidi said, according to his word, let me just say the way he actually said it. He said he's disappointed because he knew they almost had it, but then nearly does not kill a bird. Does nearly kill a bird? Please let me know if nearly kills a bird. Nearly does not kill a bird. They actually tried in that game, but they couldn't make it. As a matter of fact, it was really disappointing for him, and the result does not reflect on the performance. But according to what Wilfred Ndidi said, he said the Premier League, but in the Premier League, any campaign, anything can happen. I think it's better that he had that understanding that it is a Premier League. We're not talking about a local league. Yeah, this is Premier League, and anything can happen. It's so good that he had that understanding, and he said they could see the fight against Crystal Palace, and they had what they had and what they were actually trying to do in the game. They actually did it brilliantly, and they stayed in the game after the first goal they score. Leicester City next challenger is going to be coming against another very wonderful team. Someone may be asking, is Everton really a wonderful club? All right, they are wonderful. Like Wilfred Ndidi said, no club should be written up, and anything is possible as far as the game of football is concerned. Not just the game of football, even in basketball, anything is possible. In volleyball, in baseball, in any game at all, anything is possible. And Ndidi said he believed the single victory could transform their season. But then I don't know what you think, but what I feel about the game is the fact that that game ended the way it ended because everyone actually came to take the 3 points, but then they had to share that. Then moving away from there, Haaland denied hat-trick. He was denied hat-trick in the game that they played against Man City. As a matter of fact, let me just bring you the details of that game before I actually tell you another thing about what happened over the weekend. Erland was not really happy. Erling Haaland is the one I'm talking about right now. His double sent Manchester City 3 points are clear at the top of the Premier League. He was so excited. Unlike Wilfred Ndidi, who is frustrated, he is excited in his own case because they won that game 2-1. Somebody was saying something. They said, come on, Manchester City, Pep Guardiola, you guys guys were supposed to give them more goals. Brentford, are we talking about Brentford here? Brentford is supposed to net more goals. No, they were supposed to be scored more than just 2 goals. And then I think the reply that came from Brentford is good enough for me, because if you're playing with the likes of Manchester City that are always up, a lot of people have already tipped them for the Premier League. Even though the league has not gone very far, a lot of people are already tipping them that they are going to be the champion. Someone even made a statement and I say, hey, come on, you don't have to say that. He said, well, any coach that comes to Manchester City today is going to do well. And I said, hey, come on, it's not always like that, because Pep Guardiola is not doing badly. That doesn't mean that any coach at all can actually coach Manchester City and they will be fantastic. And the person said, looking at the crop of players that they have. But then let's quickly let you know that that game against Brentford actually ended 2-1, and City actually took full advantage of Liverpool's defeat, as the case may be, to move clear at the top of the table. You know, there is this rivalry even between Liverpool and the Manchester City. Up today, down tomorrow, up today, down tomorrow. They are always looking for how they can actually chance themselves on the league table. But then I think they took advantage of what happened to Liverpool, and they just moved quickly without wasting time. They say, hey, come on, this is an advantage. Let's take advantage of it and move to the top of the table. And they stretch their 100% record to 4 games, despite a disastrous start over the season. But however, Haaland from the start of the season remain unstoppable, even if the Norwegian just miss out on a record of 3rd consecutive trick in the Premier League. As a matter of fact, I am going to move from here and bring you to speed with some of the things happening from the La Liga. Moving from the Premier League, let's quickly get to what is happening in the La Liga. Like I told you before I got started, I said I'm going to be talking more about the result of the matches that were played over the weekend. The surprises, the intrigue, the suspense, the entertainment, and the disappointment are things you can't just take away when it comes to sports. Right now, we'll go on a quick break. After this break, I'll return, and of course, I will let you know what happened from the La Liga over the weekend. What about Kelechi Iheanacho? Are you thinking you want to hear something about him? Don't worry, after the break, you get to know more from the La Liga side.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk Sports with the King of Sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Got that goal! Beautiful work from the wingers!
Are you ready to be entertained like never before? Get ready to dive into the latest and greatest entertainment.
Get a shot in, squares it into the back!
It's It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays 10. It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Got that goal! Beautiful work from the wingers!
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Got that goal! Beautiful work from the wingers! Get a shot in, squares it into the back!
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Got that goal! Beautiful work from the wingers! shot it, squares it, into the back.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk Sports with the King of Sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Oh, that goal! Beautiful work from the wingers.
Break Talk Sports live on your screen on global television. My name is Ramsey. Let's quickly take you to what's happening from the La Liga. Well, some people think the suspense, the surprises, the intrigue, of course, the entertainment and disappointment only came from England. No! Let's quickly get to the Spanish La Liga right here, where Ejuke and Iheanacho scored first victory with Sevilla. As a matter of fact, the Nigerian international also talking about Chidera Ejuke and Kelechi Iheanacho played their own part. As Sevilla were able to clinch their first win of the La Liga season, a handful of 1-0 home defeat of Getafe. All right, Getafe actually tried their best. Ejuke, who started the match and put in a solid 6 to 7 minute shift, was instrumental in the Sevilla's improving attack. Well, the attack and the display was so fantastic, although he didn't get on the score sheet, but then some assists actually came from him. The winger presence and energy helped the host put Getafe defense under pressure throughout his time on the pitch, while Iheanacho was an unused substitute, and that sent some form of signal. If you remember, when Iheanacho was in Leicester City, most times he was on the bench. Wilfred Ndidi was always playing in the first 11, but then at a point in time, Kelechi Iheanacho was on the bench. He was always coming in as a substitute, but as the case may be, for the game against Getafe, he was an unused substitute. His presence on the bench actually added depth to Sevilla's attacking option, highlighting the growing Nigerian influence in the Spanish top league. I'm just trying to come back to terms with what that situation is all about, because when you say someone was an unused substitute and you say his presence on the bench actually played a major role in the game, it brings in some form of surprises. But now let's move from what happened at the Spanish La Liga and go to Italy, looking at the Italian Serie A, what really happened at Napoli. Well, Napoli, we are not writing off Napoli totally because Osimhen is no longer there. At least it was a very fantastic one as Napoli's top Serie A came in. Lukman was actually a late striker who lifted Atalanta. Napoli are top of the Serie A. As a matter of fact, that happened after trashing Cagliari 4-0 yesterday in a match which was stopped in the first half due to some fans who came in with some form of disorder. As Inter Milan were head to a 1-1 draw at Monzalo in the Champions League opener at Manchester City. Also, Ademola Lookman actually made sure that Atalanta actually warm up for the return to the Champions League with their winner in a 3-2 victory over Fiorentina on Sunday. The display was actually another step in the right direction for the new coach. Talking about Antonio Conte. Conte said, well, Osimhen, I no longer need you in this squad. Even if you're here, you're not going to be relevant to us. And then he moved to Galatasaray, but then he was also fantastic in his own game yesterday. But notwithstanding, I think Ademola Lookman actually made it happen for his own club. But then, as it is right now, let's see what is actually going to be the result of the game. The challenge for the league title actually came up as Genoa snatched a 1-1 home draw with Roma in the final second to continue their positive start to the season. Genoa are actually 10th on the 5 points right now, level with AC Milan and 2 points ahead of Roma, who sits in the 15th position. Well, 15th position, that is far away from me. All right, so let's quickly look at other things. A quick look at Nigerian players who were actually very, very fantastic. They were on fire over the weekend. And you know the people I'm talking about right now. Who was on fire over the weekend? You know who I'm talking about. You know the guys I'm talking about. Almost most of Nigerian players were actually on fire over the weekend. Let me quickly bring you to speed with just a few of them. How did it really happen? This is a quick look at Nigerian players who were on fire for their various clubs, fresh from powering Nigeria to top of the group in the 2024 African qualifiers. They were still very fantastic in their league. Apart from the performance during the AFCON qualifiers, Nigerian stars returned to their various clubs abroad, and of course ran the show. They made it happen for their clubs. Some got goals, some assisted, and whatever happened, that's why they call it a team. Okay, you are not in my team. It is a teamwork, not an individual effort, even though individual efforts also contribute. The teamwork is what actually made it happen for these clubs and some of these players as they got goals and of course assists. Who are these players that I'm talking about? Well, I can't just talk about the men. I will also talk about the women too, even though the woman in the picture was actually on the bench. She was an unused substitute, but then measuring up in that league, in that club, even being on the bench alone, it's something. Don't you think so? Let's talk about these players right now. Let me begin from Ademola Lookman of Atalanta. In his first league game of the season for Atalanta, he is actually the Ballon d'Or nominee. You already know that Ademola Lookman was actually picked. And of course, he is up with his game as he stopped his international duty for Nigeria and quickly went to his club and grabbed a goal and an assist in their 3-2 win over Fiorentina. And as a matter of fact, that's not just all. Let's quickly talk about Moses Simon, who is playing for Nantes in France. You know, Moses Simon has been very, very fantastic. This is one player that you can write off anytime, any day, and he's been getting consistent call to play for the Super Eagles. Simon actually made it happen. It was 3 goals on contribution. He contributed to 3 goals in 4 games for Nantes this season, and on Sunday with an assist to save them from a 2-1 defeat that would have been very, very disastrous. It is a saving. It's a saving grace, and he came out with that. 2-1 was how that game actually ended. But then I don't know, but if you look at that game very well, you will know that that assist was a very powerful one, and that's the reason I said it is a teamwork and not just because the individual scored the goal. The goal will actually go to the player who scored the goal, but then the player did not just pick the ball from one end and just went to score. The teamwork actually had to come in, and that's the understanding. Teamwork is very important in every sphere of life. Let's quickly move to Germany right now. From France, I am now in Germany. Who do I talk about in Germany right now? I'm going straight to Augsburg. Franz Onyeka. Okay, you remember Franz Onyeka? Fresh from making a switch from the EPL side. Talking about Brentford to Augsburg, and Onyeka right now, as I speak to you, has justified why he actually needed more game time. Like I was saying earlier, of course, when he was complaining about Leicester City's game, I told you a lot of players actually want to get more playing time. The more playing time they get, the more they show their skills and tactics and become relevant in the club. The same thing is what Onyeka is saying here. Onyeka justified with the need for more games. He's talking about more gameplay, and as a matter of fact, he said he needed more time as he marked his debut with an assist in their 3-1 win over St. Paula over the weekend. It was a very wonderful one. If you look at that game, you will know that he was actually hungry for goals, and that assist actually came. Well, he didn't get a goal, but he got an assist, and it gave them that win against their opponent. Very fantastic one. That's to tell you that Nigerian players are not doing badly in their club side. But some people may be asking, but what happens when they come to play for the Super Eagles? Why don't we get the kind of mojo, the kind of strength, the kind of energy that we get when they are playing for their club side? And as a matter of fact, let's quickly go and see what is happening right now from there. Let's get to England as we talk about Ajayi Maja of West Brom and of course Josh Maja. As a matter of fact, that was a very, very, very wonderful game as it involved in the 6th goal contribution of the season for West Brom, providing an assist in their championship 2-0 win after Portsmouth on Sunday got that happen. He made 4 goals and 1 assist heading into the game. As a matter of fact, Semi Ajayi, he also made his 5th start of the season, helping them to their 4th win of the campaign as they were able to remain top of the table, which is very important. With how many points? 13 beautiful points. Well, we can't talk about the men. For the women, let's quickly look at who is making it happen in Spain. Let me talk about Rasheedat Ajibade a little bit at Atletico Women. She was actually a very fantastic player who is a forward for the Super Falcons. Ajibade was already an unused substitute in Atletico Madrid's women game as they began their season with a 2-1 win over Deportivo La Corona. Well, that was a very wonderful one. Moving away from there, let's come back home to Nigeria right now and look at the Nigeria Premier Football League. My God. Coming back home, some persons will tell you, well, the NPFL is not as juicy, as sweet as the foreign games are. But let me tell you that a lot of surprises happening even in the Nigerian National League. A lot of surprises even as the season is about to get started. Well, NPFL result, midfielder Aziz Falulu came up with a stoppage time winner for Katsina United on Sunday, earning them another wonderful game as the Changi boys got a win. How did it actually end? 2-1 was how that match ended, and they got a win over Bendel Insurance. In the other game of the NPFL match day, 2 games, I don't know, but then that game, a lot of things happened in that game. But then, how did it really end? I'm talking about the match day 2 games that was decided on Sunday. As Eddie Dong was actually the last minute penalty that came from him. Rescue a pointer for host Aqua United against Abia Warriors, and that game was played in Uyo. Then from Uyo, I'm taking you to Yenagoa right now, where Rabiu Abdullahi also rescued a point for Ladan Bosos Bayelsa United in their 1-1 draw against Kano Pillars at the Samson Siasia Stadium back there. Then let's quickly look at this. The game actually came from Awolu, who opened the scoring for Pillars in the 14th minute of the game. Then let me move away from there and go to Minna right now. Niger State is where I am going to right now, and Niger Tornadoes return again to another wonderful one. Bako Kantangura Stadium where that game actually took place, but they couldn't build on their away win. Oh my God, at Kwara United last week as they were ahead to a goalless draw. My God, instead of you to win us, let's draw the game. I think that was what happened in that game. And Nasarawa United, lately they've been playing very seriously. I think they are doing better than they were last season. Some persons may differ in opinion, but what I feel is that they are trying, at least instead of you to lose woefully, it's better to draw the game so that the 3 point is being shared. Everyone goes with a 1-1. But then one of the biggest game over the weekend is that one of Finidi George, as they came out to the top in the much anticipated clash of the Super Eagles legends. Talking about Finidi George as Rivers United score a thrilling 3-1 over Heartland FC. Well, it was a game that a lot of people actually look forward to. And moving away from there, let me bring you to speed with other things happening. This one is more like a complaint coming from Boniface. Oh my God. Boniface is not happy. Boniface is not happy at all. And sometimes you will know that his anger may be justifiable. But then, remember, after the Ballon d'Or, a lot of people came up complaining, why was I not in the Ballon d'Or? Look at my performance. Look at the games we won. Look at the awards I won and all of that. I'm not in the Ballon d'Or right now. It's not all about the Ballon d'Or, but now he is complaining about the FIFA. Why have you done this to me? That is Boniface actually crying out. What is Boniface really saying? Well, if you look at it critically, he have reasons why he has reasons why he should be angry. But then let's just look at it critically, because some persons may differ in opinion. Boniface made a very annoying move towards FIFA. He was mad at FIFA. Let me just use that word. Boniface was mad at FIFA. The Nigerian forward, talking about Victor Boniface, who has actually been a standout performer in their Bundesliga game, has voiced out his frustration over his latest FIFA rating. FIFA, why did you do this to me? Why do you do this to me? You are rating me like this. That's Boniface talking, just in the voice of Boniface, you know. And why is he saying that? He said he is not actually being treated well. The Super Eagles striker has quickly become a key player in Xavi Alonso's Bayern Leverkusen side since his move from Union SC. As a matter of fact, even securing the Bundesliga Rookie of the Year award after a stellar debut season where he netted 21 goals in so many games that he played, and registered 10 assists. And he said, looking at this, why would you rate me the way you rated me? I am not so cool with that rating. However, despite his impressive start, Boniface latest FIFA rating did not go down well with him. He rose only slightly, small from, my God, 81 to 82 was the difference. No wonder he was angry. What's the difference? 81 to 82. Well, at all, then say I ain't bad pass. In the pidgin language for those watching us from across the globe. That means, instead of you not to get it at all, a little shift is better than not shifting at all. That's what it means in the pidgin language being spoken in Nigeria. For those who are outside there, who are watching us live right now on the DSTV. That's for you. That explanation is for you. Moving on, sparking discontent from the forward because the rating was not too palatable for him, and he said, I'm not going to hide this. I will come out and I will speak about it. That is Boniface speaking to FIFA without hiding it. He said 81 to 82 is not cool for me looking at my performance. Moving away from there, let's quickly look at what we call matters arising from the world of sport. So many things happen in the world of sport. We can't bring you everything from the volleyball, from baseball. As a matter of fact, Nigeria will be taking on their counterpart very soon in so many other games. Then at least it was a very wonderful one, as the wife of the president have actually congratulated, and the Afro basketball players, they've been congratulated, and of course the Paralympic contingents actually returned, and smile was actually put on their faces. As I try to round off right now, let me quickly bring you matters arising from the world of sport, and I'm moving straight up to Manchester United. Manchester United, how far, how levels? As a matter of fact, let's quickly get into this right now. Manchester United manager, talking about Erik ten Hag, has actually launched a passionate defense of Marcus Rashford. I don't like what you are doing to Marcus Rashford. Fans, why are you doing this? You're talking down my guy, my player all the time. I don't like this. Over criticism is coming on Rashford. You know, sometimes you can't please everybody. Whatever you do, people must talk. People must talk behind you. People must talk in your front. People must say, they must say something. Whatever you do, people must talk. As a matter of fact, Erik ten Hag has actually come out to make some passionate defense for Marcus Rashford after the forward actually try to found the back of the net against Southampton. Rashford strike was his first since he actually came in March, getting the England international over the mark for the 2024-25 campaign. When he asks what the goal will do for Rashford, well, Rashford confidence is returning back, and of course it's a very beautiful one, and a lot of people are so excited. But I think it's so good. One very major and important thing is the fact that the coach is actually behind him and is giving him the support that he needs, irrespective of what people are saying. All right, this is going to be the sizer. So many more to say, but then the time is not on our side right now, and we want to apologize for the fact that our guest couldn't join us due to some technical issues from his own end, not from our own end here. That's how it happens. But then we'll come on your way again, same time, same station, and that's going to be tomorrow. Talk Sport will come better, bigger, and stronger. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Have a wonderful day ahead of you. Bye-bye for now.